Welcome,
Hi, everyone.
welcome, Solera. And just a quick, brief introduction for you. Solera is the world's leading spiritual channel for transforming leaders into extraordinary global game changers who create profound positive impact on humanity. Solera helps entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, and influencers create an even bigger reach in this world and energetically tap into the universe's universal bank account. Sign me up. Let's hear how you do this.
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you. My name is Solera Chain. I'm very happy to be here. As Carrie said, I'm a channel. I bring the guides in to assist my clients, with their process of creating wealth and extraordinary abundance in life. So, it's a journey that I myself had to, walk through to go from, having no relationship money to having money. It's a process, but it's definitely something that can be learned by everyone. Of course, it's a lot of mindset shift. It's a lot of rethinking about what money means to you. So I'm very happy to be here too, and, really discuss this topic with everyone.
Yeah, I say that money is like sex. Everyone wants it, but is scared to talk about it. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I want to hear more about how important it is to have money as a healing modality, and then dive deeper into like how we give money meaning.
So, in terms of money, a lot of times people feel that money is an obstacle in life. But the way you want to think of money is your friend. Money is someone that you love. Money is like a pet that you adore, right? There's like a trust relationship. Like think about an area in your life that you're really successful. Let's say you're really good with health. You've mastered the body, and you feel like, in general, the body is listening to you and you're listening to the body. There's a trust relationship. Well, that relationship can also be created in the area of wealth. Maybe right now you haven't mastered it yet, but it's definitely something that can be created, because if you're good at this one area, this other area, then you've mastered the feelings, the correct feelings in this area. Does that make sense? That's why you've mastered it. Okay. Well, the same feelings can be like transferred to creating wealth. Let's say you are really good with health, with body, then you want to be thinking, so if I want to create more money, then maybe I can think about money like the way I think about body. I have a good relationship with my body. I trust my body. Or maybe you have a really good relationship with your spouse. I trust my spouse. Any area that you're competent in, right? Like I feel good about myself in this area. I feel really good about myself in the area of cooking. Let's say you're really confident in the kitchen, but not everyone is. So you master the correct feelings in this area. Now you just need to master the correct feelings in the area of money. But a lot of times people feel money as a fearful thing. Rather, it's an area in which you can expand, right? When Carrie says how to use money as a healing tool, it's a healing tool for yourself to expand your own personal perception of who you are. And it's a healing tool for the world. Think about if you have so much abundance that, not a problem for you to buy a house for your parents, not a problem for you to help a friend with their finances, not a problem to, let's say, support your niece and nephews to go to college, whatever it is that you want to do. And then you want to do even bigger things. Let's say you want to save children in Africa, you want to help like the rainforest. There is so much power in creating wealth, because guess what? The wealth transforms the whole world. But if you're in kind of that small place and you're not allowing yourself to expand into this area, you feel stuck, right? You feel like it's not going where I wanted to go. You don't feel happy about it. But what happened is you're also blocking the world from experiencing more abundance. When you heal your relationship with money, you basically are healing the whole world, because you have so much more to give to the whole world. Does that make sense? Like it's just a natural flow. When you have so much, it's like, imagine your fridge is stuffed with food and you have a friend comes over. You're like, oh, please take this pie. I have like a lot. Like, please take this lasagna. I have a lot. Just take it home. Like all this fruit basket, just take it home. Right? You're like, give it away. You want to. You're not going to eat all this food in the fridge by yourself, are you? You have a natural desire to want to share. But if you have like one apple and then you have like one bottle of water, you don't have anything else, then how can you give more? You can't, right? So Carrie's correct in that money is a healing tool. Money is what will allow you to expand even further, right, into the next chapter of your life and into the expansion of consciousness worldwide. When you do that yourself, you're creating that ripple effect. But not only that, physically, you can redistribute wealth in a way that serves everybody. So I hope that's really clear in terms of how you can think about money and how you can use it as a tool to heal yourself and the world.
Absolutely. That was very powerful. So what my biggest takeaway, let me know what your biggest takeaway was in the chat, but for me, it was that feeling, like associating a certain feeling around money and making it your friend.
Well, because maybe friendship is not like your top area. It could be any area that you're good at, right? It's like maybe you have a really good relationship with your dog. Then that's an area you're good at. You've already mastered that. You take care of it, you nurture it, you have a routine with your pet, you do things, you take it to the vet. There are a lot of things you're already doing to grow that relationship. So it means that you can also create the same kind of relationship with money. It's just right now when you see money, it's fearful. You're like, oh my God, it's a lot of work. I don't really want to deal with it. It gives me a lot of stress. You push it away. But if you decide, I want to have a new relationship with money, I want to have a good relationship with money, what does that look like? Okay, I have a really good relationship with my dog, really good relationship. What do? I'm taking care of it. I'm checking its health. I'm making sure that it has enough food. You would do the same thing, similar things with money. You would check your bank accounts. You will look at your finances. You will do your bookkeeping. You go to the accountant, right, to do your taxes. You would do all these things to manage money, to nurture money, just like you would do with a pet, right? But you're not thinking of money as a pet right now. You're thinking as is your obstacle. It's something that is a challenge that you have to kind of struggle and deal with. You just like that. Remember, it's like the energy is very tense. So then there's no flow. There's no physical flow of money in your life when you're looking at money that way. But when you look at money as, life is good. I can build a relationship with it. Right? Some people have good relationship with their plants. Okay. Some people have good relationship with their parents, with their children, their friends. Money is a relationship. So the question is, do you want to have a good relationship or not? And are you willing to expand outside of your comfort zone to go and, make friends with money, to build that nurturing relationship with money? It's like you have to love it. And, there's no conflict between being spiritual and being wealthy. If anything, they're one and the same, because spiritual means abundance, unlimited abundance, in fact. Okay, when you truly understand what spiritual means, it means unlimited abundance. So there's no conflict at all. It means that you can allow yourself to move even more into that area, right? To expand your own consciousness by expanding your money consciousness. And money is not your enemy. Money is something that will really carry you forward in life to assist you, assist the people that you love, and change the world. But you have to start by changing how you're approaching it. So I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. People are making have comments here in the chat, like total perspective shift. So my question for you is, how did you find your way to this, to your specialty? Like, did you always have a good relationship with money, or was it a struggle?
So I always had this relationship with money, which is non-existent. Okay. I was like one of those avoidant type. I didn't want to look at money, didn't really want to look at how much money was being charged on the credit cards. I pay my rent every month on time, and that was it. I'm like, I'm good. Nothing more. And so I end up basically just ignoring money. I didn't have a friendship money. Once I started channeling, the first thing that the guides corrected was my money mindset. they said, so I moved to Thailand, and again, it was sort of just synchronicity. I never wanted to be here. It just, I had an opportunity to come here. And once I came to Thailand, the guy said to me, you know, you really want to think about money in a very different way, because money is just like making friends. It's not that hard. You're really good at making friends. So then apply the same attitude to making money. And once they told me that, I got it, because I am really good at making friends. It's like, I would say friendship is like my most abundant. And now money is also abundant, but it took me some time to apply those same feelings that I have towards friends, towards money. Because with friends, it's like easygoing, you know, there's a trust there, and just like it's flow. I love them for who they are. I don't expect them to be something different. You know, there's unconditional love, and I care for them and I take care of them. You know, like I do stuff for my friends, right? So once they told me that, I was like, okay, then I just need to approach money the same way. So then I started to, you know, look at money, right? Have like at first, listen, I just literally, I had like a notebook, and I'll write down how much I was spending. Like every week I would like, okay, write it down. And then this day, write it down. That was very rudimentary, but that's actually how I started building that relationship, which is with a pen and a notebook. Wasn't fancy. I didn't even have Excel spreadsheet. Now I have an Excel spreadsheet. You know, I just started. It's like I just had to start making friends with money. And again, that's my area of strength, right? You're good at different things. And so I apply that same mentality, same mindset, because the mindset is the same. Does that make sense? Like you could be really strong in relationship. You could be really strong in health. You can be really strong in cooking. Even that mindset is the same. You trust yourself that you can do it. You trust yourself you can have a good relationship. You trust yourself that you can have health. All these things. It's like there's that faith there, but maybe you don't have faith with money right now. So I really also had to have faith with money. And again, I was like, I did a lot of spiritual stuff, and I was like, oh, you know, spiritual people are not supposed to have money. And the guys are like, BS. Like, right, like this is just BS. And so that became really clear to me. And then little by little, you know, I was always a spender, and I met a boyfriend, my current boyfriend, who is a saver, and he really put me on a budget. It was very, very uncomfortable for me. But then I started to get comfortable with having money in my bank account, because I was one of those people. I will earn it then spend it. You know, I don't know if you're like that. So my bank account was always at zero by the end of the month. Once I moved here, it was like I couldn't spend it all because we had a share budget in a household, and then I always had some extra. $500 extra, $1,000 extra, $2,000 extra. And then I just got comfortable with keeping money. Remember, it's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. Okay. Once I started getting comfortable with keeping money, then eventually that money went to like 6 figures. It's like now I'm comfortable with having 6 figures in my bank account. Like I'm like, that's my minimum. And if it goes below that, I'm really uncomfortable. It's kind of funny. So you change, like your standard changes. Does that make sense? Before, my comfort zone was at 0, because that was what I felt comfortable with. And I was a single girl, didn't need anything. I was like, that's good. So part of your challenge in your own personal life is it's almost like you have to increase the comfort zone, if that makes sense. You have to allow yourself, let's say you're comfortable at keeping $1,000 in your bank account, then okay, slowly upgrade it to 5,000. Then from 5,000, move it to 10,000. Then from 10,000 to 20,000. You don't have to go from 0 to $1 million today. You don't. It's about expanding your comfort zone so that you can hold it. You know, the way I was taught was, you know, think about at first we've got like your container, just like a cup, the size of a cup. And then as your container expands, then hopefully it goes from a cup to like a pot, right? And like a cooking pot. And then maybe you go from a pot to like something bigger, like a tub, like a bathtub, right? Then to like a mini swimming pool, then to like a bigger swimming pool, then to the lake, then eventually your abundance can be the whole ocean. So that's one of the visualizations that they've taught me. And it becomes easier to like expand, right? Because you're starting to get comfortable with like the bigger number, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So I know that you refer to your guides and you're the top channeler in the world. How interconnected was you learning how to channel associated also with expanding your world consciousness?
They definitely go hand in hand. And, you know, I do teach clients and students how to channel for themselves as well. It's not rocket science. Everyone can channel. The guys always say, if you can cook, you can channel. If you can make like spaghetti, you can channel. It's just, do you want to or not? Okay. You can say no, you can say yes. Like for the longest time, I always was told, no, don't do that. Like I was like, I always felt like I couldn't go into channeling because it felt really scary. I was like, I don't want to talk to ghosts. I don't want spirits to be coming down from the sky and like, you know, walking, talking next to me. I felt like there was a disconnect, if that makes sense. It was like, I really felt that something um, like spirit and I can only be so close, but not too close. But once I start channeling, it's like,
Well, can I interrupt
was,
you? Like
yeah, go ahead.
how, because that fear shows up in so many people's lives. And that's kind of what I want to disrupt. So the fear of like having, you know, the messages come through.
Yeah.
How did you really deal with that? What did that look like? How do you overcome that?
So when I was first, when I first got into like Akashic records and channeling all this stuff, I used to go to someone else. And during one of the sessions, the guys told me through that person, hey, you can channel yourself. But this was like maybe, I don't know, my gosh, 8 years ago. And I was like, no, I'm happy to come and pay you. I don't want to have to do this by myself. So there was a lot of resistance. And then I kind of had like hit rock bottom when I was about 32 to 33, like that transition year. I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no purpose in life. And I would just, before I was like a private tutor in LA, you know, I was making decent money. I wasn't like poor, but it was just, but there was no flow. And the way I overcame my fear was I just really surrendered to whatever universe was going to bring me. So I left the United States and I went to Iceland for about 3 months and I had no agenda there. I'm not saying you should do what I do. Okay. You know, I was not married. I didn't have children. So bought a one-way ticket to Iceland. And I was like, I just need some peace and quiet in my life. Go somewhere where nobody knows me. And I did. And during that period of time where I didn't do anything, keep in mind, I didn't even have like a job, no sense of purpose, didn't know where I was going to go after 3 months in Iceland. Then one day, this friend of mine called me. She was like, hey, you know, Solera, I haven't seen you, talked to you in a long time. And we reconnected. And she said, oh yeah, I stopped practicing law and now I'm doing something called the Akashic Record. She said, it's really easy. You can do it too. So because she said that, I was like, oh, okay. I always listen to my friends. Remember, friendship is my like strong zone. So I always listen to my friends. And she's like, you should do it too. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to do it because she said so. That's actually how I got into it, literally. And it was like a sign from the universe, honestly, because if it weren't for just that little reconnection with this friend of mine, I remember I was already told that I could channel by another channel. Okay. But I didn't want to, right? Like I was very stubborn on my own stuff, yada, yada, yada. But she was like, oh, it's really easy. I was like, well, okay, if she can do it, then I can probably do it. So that was literally how I got over my fear. And I had a lot of time. Remember, I didn't have a job there. So I had all this time and I knew nobody in Iceland basically. So guess who I talked to? I talked to the guys. So it was like, I gave myself the space to surrender. And guess what? The universe came halfway and it showed me what I needed to do. And then, and then I met someone who said, hey, let's go to Thailand together. That's how I ended up going to Thailand from Iceland. So, you know, it's just synchronicities. I think we all can allow more synchronicities to come into our lives because synchronicities, they are literally the vehicle for manifestation, but in a way that's easy, in a way that's just like no hard work, because that was not hard work. It was just, hey, I had a call with a friend and she told me. And I think if we allow synchronicities to come more often, instead of forcing your way to get stuff done, right? Because you're here, you're probably all smart people, and you try to put your life together in the best way you can. You're working towards it. But when you're working so hard, you block the universe flow. And when you take a break from it, it's like there's like the open vista, there's like the open field, and in that open field new possibilities get created, right? And that's what synchronicities are. New possibilities get created. They come to you unexpectedly without you forcing anything. And wouldn't you want to live that way? You know, because I was like a straight A student. I worked in IT. I was like a career woman. I had a lot of things going through my own effort. You know what I mean? Like I tried to like control things and never went anywhere. Every time I tried to control things, it just didn't go the way I wanted to go. And, you know, the fear is always there. It's not like I'm now fearless. I still have fear all the time about all kinds of stuff. But I have the fear. I acknowledge myself for having the fear. Then I think about, you know, the true spiritual work is surrendering to the process that life gives you. And you can do it even when you're fearful, and that's okay. Even when you're a little bit scared. But you see the signs, you see the synchronicities, you see where you're supposed to go to, then go there. Like, don't block yourself. Like, if you feel a calling, you want to do something, start a new business or change a business, you know, whatever, you feel it, you should implement it. And that's how you know if it's the correct thing or not the correct thing. Like, now I get downloads all the time, not just from channeling, but my own intuition is just like, this stuff comes to me all the time when I'm in the shower. And guess what I do? I have the idea in the shower. I like run out of the shower and I go do it, like right then and there. Sometimes like midnight, I'm like typing my emails or doing whatever, I'm writing down my ideas. Because you're only gonna know if it works or not by testing it, you know? So my encouragement to everybody here is, don't be afraid to test your boundary. Like, really test it, because when you do test it regularly, then you know where you fall. And if it works, great, you continue down this way. And if it doesn't work, no big deal, you back off, you do something else. Like, you kind of have nothing to lose. And so to expand your spiritual consciousness, part of it is through the actions that you implement. Right? It kind of goes in hand. It's not separate. It's like you expand your consciousness mindset around something, then you obviously can do something differently. But also, when you do something differently, it can also shift your perspectives. So it's like a happy marriage, hopefully. So does that make sense?
Yes, I mean, everything you're saying is like, I'm trying to take all these notes and all these quotes that you're saying. I definitely will be rewatching it over and over. Synchronicities are the vehicle to manifestation. And that really stuck with me about just being aware of the synchronicities, about I've experienced that things come towards you, right? When you're in the right, new possibilities are created. When we surrender, trust, feel into it, and then also about that expanding spiritual consciousness, it also takes action. It isn't just like getting stuck in the head. It's actually surrendering to the outcome and just moving forward.
Yeah. So surrendering is a really difficult thing for most people to do, and myself included, because it's like, oh my gosh, am I going to give up control over my life? And so, I surrendered when literally it's like I was hitting dead end from all directions. I was always very stubborn. So I was like, I'm going to do my thing. Then when I hit my brick wall, I was like, oh my God, I had no choice. Like, I had to just stop, because I knew what I was doing in my life was completely off. And I was like, I have to stop the train from falling off the cliff. And it's like, some people wait until they get into a car accident or get a divorce or have something really traumatic happen, but you don't have to wait until something traumatic happens. Often, I think the most important thing that we can do for ourselves is creating space. For example, here, you're seeing like this background. Well, guess what? This is not my house. Okay. I'm on vacation in Krabi, south of Thailand. I'm swimming and I'm going to my diving lesson tomorrow. It's because I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can, have a chat with you ladies and still be on vacation. I don't see that as a conflict. And I make space on purpose in my life because you need it. You need the space for inspiration. You need the space for energy, right? Because when there's no energy, that means you can't focus. And when you can't focus, you can't create and manifest. So when you purposefully increase the space, I'm not saying everybody needs to come to Thailand. Okay. It's a really nice place. But when you increase like the amount of spaciousness in your life, it's kind of like making room in your closet. You know what I mean? Like you throw away the old dresses and the old clothes from 10 years ago, you just get rid of them. And then when you have like, let's say half the closet empty, well, guess what? Now you've got empty space in your closet for new clothes, right? It's like you can go shopping again, buy something new, and go look at new styles and expand your wardrobe. But if your closet is stuffed full with all your old stuff, right? Some people, it's not just clothes, like random stuff is in there. You have no room. You have no room. It's the same for life. It's like you have to create some space. And of course, physically decluttering is a really good thing to do, by the way. I personally love the Marie Kondo book. I read it 3 times. I've done the Marie Kondo process multiple times. And every time I do the process, it changes my life really dramatically. Takes me from like country to new country, or just it changes my job, changes my relationship. Because in the book it describes, it's a very simple thing. It's just like pick up every object, like a pen, and ask, does this bring me joy? I would say yes. I love purple. It brings me joy. So I do that even with like smallest things, like the pen or the eraser or whatever. And you go through that process of asking, does it bring me joy? And you ask that 1,000 times, you start to really know what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. And life is actually very simple. When you remove the clutter, both in your mind and physically, you start to see clearly. It's like, oh my gosh, this is what I really love. Oh my gosh, this is what I really don't love. And then there's kind of the gray area. But you should always go for the things you really love. Remember, in order to create income, that next level wealth, it's not just like the mindset work, like how people do it. Oh, I'm going to work really hard and make a lot of money and take all these courses. You want to be happy. You want to be rich and happy. You don't want to be rich and miserable, because there are a lot of rich people who are miserable, and you don't want to join that camp. Okay. You really don't. You might as well just be where you are.
Yes.
So being rich and happy is the goal. And you should always keep that in mind, like that sense of balance. I want to be wealthy and I want to be extremely happy in my life. And the journey of getting there is extremely important. So you want to be happy along the way, and not just expecting yourself to be magically happy when you have like $10 million,
I feel like I could talk to you forever, Solera. It went by so quickly. I would love to further the conversation, and perhaps with the next summit, with the next series.
Yeah.
And how we're going to leave the link to get in touch with you in the chat box, because my main takeaway really is about money. Have a relationship with money. Money can bring you happiness, and it should bring you happiness. And about the possibilities, right? Like possibilities and movement, like everything just has to move. So I know that you help your clients in the Akashic Records and so many different ways. If you could, well, we left your link in the chat there. Mm-hmm. If anyone has questions for Solera, please leave them in the chat. I don't know if you could say to answer a few of them, or else we'll send them.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, and you guys can follow me on TikTok. It's at Solera Chain. The IG and TikTok is the same handle. So yeah, I do a lot of messages there as well, and channel content. So yeah, if you have questions, ask me. Happy to answer a couple questions if we have time. Really, my message for everyone here is that it's going to be very uncomfortable as you expand your money container. That's just part of the process. And sometimes it's almost better to expect yourself to be uncomfortable. And just know that, that's going to be uncomfortable. I already expect it. It's like going to like a hot country. You already know, like, you're not going to bring a jacket with you. It's going to be hot, right? You go down to Miami, for example. And so you just expect it. And so when you expect that there's going to be discomfort, then it's not like a surprise, okay? Right? You're like, I knew that in order for me to grow my money consciousness, part of me, I'm going to resist it. I already know it's going to come. So then when the resistance comes, you're like, I knew you were going to come. And it's actually better that way, because when you say, hey, I know you were going to come, and I see you resisting, then you're acknowledging yourself for the resistance. And guess what? When you acknowledge yourself for the resistance, it's like it calms down. But if you just kind of like, oh my God, I'm resisting, I don't want it to go, I don't want to go, then you feel really fearful. And so then you end up, it's like you're sabotaging yourself, right? Get into these tendencies to kind of almost destroy your own success. And a lot of people do that. It's like they win the lottery and then they lose it. That phenomenon is common because it's like there's so much resistance to that new level of wealth. So practice, imagine yourself winning the lottery. You want to feel expansive. You want to feel generous, that you can give, some of it away to the people that you care about. You want to feel that, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Look at so many things I can be doing for myself and the world. Because when you change your perspective to just serving yourself, to serving yourself and the world, now there's a lot of energy and a lot of momentum to create the next chapter of your life, because your reason is bigger than just yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You are Solera for humanity, showing the way how to give money meaning and how we can change the world with it and not just our own lives. So thank you so much for being here. You're such a light in the world, and have fun on your vacation in Thailand. I'm a little jealous. Can't wait to go there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's easy living here, and I'm very blessed that the universe brought me here. So